All right, continuing on, we are moving on to section 5 in this, and we're looking at the circles if it's placed on a coordinate plane. Okay, so we're kind of dealing with some analytical geometry here, taking circles and placing them on coordinate planes and using algebraic formulas and algebraic expressions to help us find distances and different things like that. Okay, so let's say we have our equation for a circle. So this is a circle, which is a conic section. It's a shape that is based off of that you can make from cutting a cone a certain way, which is just taking a cone and just cutting the top off, or looking at the bottom of it, you have a circle. But it's a conic section. It goes along with parabolas and ellipses and hyperbolas and different things like that. So this is the equation for a circle. So a circle is going to be x minus h, that whole thing squared, plus y minus k, that whole thing squared, is equal to r squared. hk is going to be your center, okay, and r is going to be your radius. So when you get your formula, you have to take the square root of what it's equal to get your radius. So if the if it said, x minus 4 squared plus y minus 12 squared is equal to 36, your radius isn't 36, your radius would be 6. Okay, so this is the formula for a circle. Okay, so let's say we have this equation and we want to find the equation of the circle with a center at 3, 4 and a radius of 4. So since the center is at 3, 4, what's going to end up happening is that we're going to use this equation and we're just going to plug everything in. So our h is 3, our k is 4, and our r is 4. Okay, so we plug everything in, and then we have our number right there. Okay, so that would be our equation. As you see, it's x minus 3. So when your point is positive x and y values, the equation is going to be negative. Okay, it's going to be x minus y minus. Okay. All right, so now let's say we have a circle that has a center at 4, 3, and we know it passes through the point of 9, 7. Okay, so we know we have that point, and we know it crosses through another point. Okay, so we know where the center is. Now what we're going to do with this is we're going to take our 4, 3, and we're going to plug it into our equation. Okay, now when we plug into our equation, we see that we're missing r. Okay, so we're missing r squared in this case. Okay, there's a few different ways there's two really ways that you could do this. One way is to plug in the x and y of the other point, 9 and 7. So plug them into here and here and find r squared. So that's one way of doing it. The other way is to just go straight into the distance formula and using it that way. So the distance formula and the way that I just mentioned are actually the exact same. It's just a different way of thinking about it. If you want to use your distance formula, you can, or you can just plug it in. So here I've plugged in 9 and 7, and then I've taken the square root of r because I want to know what my radius is. Now, you don't have to take the square root of r if you're just writing the equation, because you're trying to find r squared. So if you plug the numbers in and you get it, you'll find what r is. So here we take 9 minus 4, which is 5, squared is 25. 7 minus 3 squared is 4 squared is 16. So that means that it would be 25 plus 16, which is 41. So our radius is the square root of 41. Okay, so what would be the number that we would plug in here where I circled? Right, the number that we'd plug in there would end up being 41. So we have our equation of x minus 4 squared plus y minus 3 squared is equal to 41. And that would be the equation that would fit this center and that point on the circle. Okay. Okay, so now if we want to graph a line or a circle, okay, so if we want to graph a circle, so this previous point we started out at 4, 3, so we start with our center. 1, 2, 3, 4, up 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so right there would be our center. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to find we want to use our radius to find how far on each direction we go. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take our radius, square root of 41, which is approximately 6.5-ish. Okay, so again, an estimate. From there, we're going to go north, south, east, and west, 6.5-ish. Okay, the square root of 41. So from this point, I'm going to go over 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus a little more. So there would be a point. I go down 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a little more. I go this way 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a little more, so it's a little off. Then I go up 6, 2, 3, 4, and a little more. Up 6. And then what you want to do is you don't want to just draw straight lines. You want to kind of make a circle, okay, as best you can. You don't have a compass or anything, so you can't make it a perfect circle, but just make sure it's arced. You don't want straight lines. So if you draw something like this one in orange, this would be incorrect because we're not making a square, we're making a circle. So what we'd want is we want that green arc going around, but it doesn't have to be perfect. But again, find your center, draw out your radius in all 4 directions, and then just connect them with arcs. Okay, here's your homework in this section. And we'll move on to our last section next.